Well, welcome, woke. Clippers spanked the Warriors. Yeah, I saw that. Wasn't much of a game. Sat the big fella on the bench all the game because he missed some COVID tests. Did y'all dig that? Hey, James, thank you for joining me. Got some hockey puck sausage and pancakes for you tonight. Let me tell you. So, my son since he's not working, he has to go back to school. Looks like we're gonna got another opportunity for him, but since he's not working, he has to go back to school. And he's supposed to go today, and at the last minute, they called him and said that they're canceling. They shut the classes down because of COVID, so he didn't have to go. So he door dashed some delicious hockey puck sausage biscuits. Hockey puck sausage biscuits. Put a little jelly on that sucker. So today's been a good day. So that's the A, Starfleet. So this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. A Wind is timeless. It all started with a gentle sadness. I am the Galactic Daddy-O sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. We're getting it out there. I am holder of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. So yes, this has been a great day. Great day. Had a bunch of doctor's appointments. And I'll be honest, when I meet with my therapist, I'll tell you if I don't hurt, I'll say I don't hurt. A lot of people, try to soak it, but I think it makes the therapist look good that some of the shit they tell you is working. And so, it's like I ain't really hurting. I wear this damn thing and I got a better brace, and so it don't really bother me. Haven't sprained it lately. I was spraining my arm, just grabbing the covers. I was spraining my arm. So today's been a great day. Met with the surgeon. The surgeon said, no surgery. That is a positive. But I've got to do more MRIs. So they wonder if it's my neck because my hands are better and they gave me these things and this is what I've been needing. I got to trim this down, but just something to make my thumbs rest and my wrists rest. And, I can't be all, Thanos covered and, fire break out and shit. And here I am trying to undo a door. It's just impossible. So these are going to be a lot easier. I'm going to still sleep with my big brace with this hand, but have this hand free. And when I'm not doing anything, this is resting my hands. And the beer commercial, we're having Alaskan Brewing Company in their Amber Ale. So pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. And it's funny, my voice feels a lot stronger than last night. Last night I'm just creaking and my voice is just so weak. But I'm pretty sure my daughter gave it to us because I tend to get everything she has. So my son was saying he had the same infection, respiratory infection. So we're both getting better. I'm better. My voice feels a lot stronger. Tobacco helps. Tobacco definitely helps throat irritation. It's like I wouldn't chew just regular tobacco, but and this is a Havana reject, which kind of tastes stale. But I've got to connect where I can just send away and get these acid blondies. So, hey, PJ, thank you for joining me. So tonight's subject is, let me see, got it somewhere in here. I guess tonight's subject is, do you have enough fun? I mean, what is fun to everyone? To me, fun is reading. Fun is blowing big stacks. That's fun. So what is fun to you? What gives you joy? AYT. Have humans ever truly been free? I'll tell you, let me see, let me find this. And let me find this and I'll tell you. Let me see where this is. This might be a little buried, but I'll share this. Here we go. Now, I'm probably the only one really that talks about the primal times and the primal water. And right here it says ancient Earth was really a serene water world. New evidence confirms. It's tricky how the Earth might have looked in the early years before life emerged. Geological detectives have now attained more evidence that it was rather different. According to new analysis of the features of Earth's mantle over its long history, our whole world was once engulfed by a vast ocean. I've been talking about this for a couple years. Anybody follow me on my other channel, follow me on here. I talk about the primal times where it was once all water. Before, again, water was her lover. And so, of course, and it's not the water they talk about. It's the primal water. It's not that water. It's the water they was looking for when they was looking for the fountain of youth, primal water. That's what they were really looking for the fountain of youth, because they knew it was in the Americas. So you know, I just wonder if they're catching up or looking at my work a little bit, because it shows. And then this article goes on and talks about the water inside the Earth, because again, the Russians tried to drill far as they could drill, and they were surprised they was hitting water, and not only water, but like pockets of water. And they finally quit doing it because they was like, we have no technology to go any further, and what are we going to do with the water? So their whole mantle and hotness, and there is a center sun. There's a sun in the middle of the Earth as well, but it's not the hot mantle. It's one part that Aquaman kind of shows. It shows center sun, and that's true. But it's also water there. Since the pandemic began, I've been taking black seed oil, sesame, and consuming a lot of Mary Jane on my days off. Me too. So you know, YT, it's like there was a time. I don't know if you would have called the beings human at the time. I don't know if that would have been the proper name. And even pre-Civil War, you know, they want to tell you it was the Uncle Tom's Cabin when we know it wasn't like that. I was saying yesterday, there's an article saying that European people was food. No, they weren't. Before the Civil War, no, they weren't. The Union people changed things because the bankers didn't control all that land down there, and that's what it was all about. I was just found you again. What happened to your other channel? Yeah, Eric, they took my other channel. They erased it back in January, like 3 days after Biden was in. They erased it. Hey, read my soul. Thank you, kind words. Jay, yeah. Hey, Jay, thank you for joining me. So just trying to add that. What was the Wild West really like? Shooting people in the back, sneaking around, shooting people in the back. I got this from some dudes that traveled and talked to some of them old dudes, and that's what the Old West was about. Like when they tell you about Wild Bill Hickok and he got shot from the back, That was the Wild West. Wasn't all these facing people. The myth of Wild Bill was probably one of the few instances. But like, look at the murder Harding, the mass murder named Harding. He wasn't just facing off with people. He was, and he was a dude who was definitely a mass murderer. He was murdering American Indians, black-looking Indians. He was murdering anybody. He murdered somebody at 15. They let him be a lawyer. They let him get his law degree in jail. So, yeah, the Wild West was nothing like, and again, the 49ers was a lie. It wasn't gold found like they trying to say. What they did is they went into Mexico. Mexico gave up California. There was no Europeans out there. So what was the one weakness the Europeans have always wanted? Gold. So by the thousands, these people that knew nothing about the land, nothing about the climate, they just went out there. Gold fever, just reading the story. Did you see how stupid that would sound in today's day? You get gold fever because you read the story. You might have a decent job wherever you lived west of the Mississippi, east of the Mississippi. And because you read a goddamn story, I mean, does that make any sense today? You read a goddamn story and you think, I'm going to get my pick and shovel and go get some of that gold. No, what it did is it populated. They couldn't think of any other way to get people to go out there. But the one thing they knew is they would kill for gold. And so it was a mass killing as they went out there and was seeing natives that lived out there or the American Indian tribes that lived in the West. And they were massacring them for the rights to the gold. And that's what it was. It was a lie to bring more Europeans out there. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers before the so-called gold rush. It's like 20, 30,000. And then it turns into hundreds of thousands because they lied and said there was gold. Okay. So it was shoot them in the back. That's what it was like. Nasty, dirty. That's why I don't like you watch Tombstone and they wearing all these new clothes. Do you know how dirty the roads was and muddy the roads was? Now, when you watch a movie like Tombstone, what they're really trying to show you is the end of the cowboy era. Because remember, the Earps was wearing more like suits like the Westerners, the Easterners. And then you had still the cowboys. And so what they're showing you is that the businessmen pushed out the cowboys. That's what Tombstone is about. Back in the future, they were supposed to shoot Doc in the back. Yep. So what was the motive for all the violence? The violence was to get them off the land. That was the violence. The motive was to get the Indians or American Indians off the land so the Europeans could have the land. There was a way of getting rid of them. I mean, you had states where there wasn't any, like look at Washington State, Oregon. There was no Europeans out there. I mean, just look it up yourself. And then you get Oregon that has become so racist that they had exterminated all the people. Oregon put an ad out there and said, we are only going to be an all European state. After they killed all the natives that lived in Oregon, they proclaimed this is an all European state. And that was the goal of it. J.R. Ryder, when J.R. Ryder was playing ball out there, he said, wasn't far from this where we're playing ball, where they was hanging people out here. Now, I haven't found the instance he was referring to, but Oregon doesn't have a gleaming history of tolerance to others other than Europeans. So it was golden land. Yeah, golden land. Absolutely. Resources, though, not even gold, because gold wasn't found like that. It was resources. Water is a resource. I mean, look at like how crystals have always been collected. They wasn't throwing away. Like when they would find fool's gold, they wasn't throwing it away. They were still uses for this stuff. So it was to take natural resources. That's what it was all about, to take natural resources. Oregon was the only state in the union that didn't allow. Yeah, exactly. A lot of meth heads in Oregon too. No slavery because, yeah, there was no people to slave. They had killed them all. They had exterminated all the tribes out there. They pushed off very many. They exterminated most of the tribes. It was almost a total extermination, almost like what was done in Utah. Very similar to what Utah did. But I mean, don't take my word for it. Look it up. This is supposed to be the research community. We are researchers. So look it up. Don't take my word. And you see what they did to the people out there before they supposedly found gold. A lot of meth heads. Exactly. No brothers out there to slave. No Indians to slave because they didn't slave them because they killed them. So, am I good here? Yeah. I guess I'm good here. Oh, maybe not. Oh man, okay. Saying very poor, but so far. I know my son's playing this video game, but really shouldn't affect me. But seems like my internet signal is very weak. Oh well. We'll do it until it stops. Yeah, my voice sounds a lot stronger tonight. Lot stronger tonight. Feel a lot better. It's kind of going away, which is a good thing. This is kind of cool. So this damn thing gets hot, and what happens is it's supposed to turn off after 5 minutes of this being turned on. It doesn't do that. It stays on. This thing just gets hot. But for riding, have it like this to ride and tote and ride. Not a bad thing. They extended the army up here. There's a bunch of troops. Biden said he needs you to get the article says pollution kills more people than COVID. About 10 million people die from pollution. Yeah. I mean, I read a study back in the 80s, probably late 80s, early 90s, and the study showed that a lot of what the dude from Dell or dude from the guy that did the chemical test, it'll come to me in a minute, but did the test about the frogs, you know, and the frogs being exposed to their plastics. Dow Chemical Company, a lot of the same thing about Dow Chemical Company. But what it said is that if you live near a plastic company, that the exhaust and the fumes and the pollution that the plastic companies put out make young girls' breasts get bigger, make young girls get periods earlier. So there's a lot of environmental pollution that we're attacked by. Now, I looked at this one big house, but it's near all these power lines. It's like across this field is all these power lines, and there's one big house, but he's near all these power lines. It's like, no way I would want to live near that shit. No way I would want to live that near those type of power lines. And the house is probably not even a football field away from these power lines. So I can't believe that Biden's main selling point during his speech was, what would you be able to have a cookout with your family on the 4th of July, but all these damn people shopping at grocery stores. There you go. But too afraid to get to see their loved ones. Yeah. Hey, James. Oh, Biden's speech sounded very familiar. I wonder who that was too. I wonder who that was, because I was looking around the neck. The movements didn't look right. He has two devil horn veins on both sides. I didn't see those. So I don't know what that was that was talking. But yeah, what did he say? A million pokes a day. But I talked to my dad and my stepmother. They talking about they ain't seeing anybody. I mean, they really believe this shit. I mean, she's about to turn 70. She's 69. My dad's about to turn 78. They really believe that shit. They really believe if they don't isolate, they'll get sick. He didn't look like it. Yeah, his mannerisms were off too. His mannerisms weren't the same either. That was something I noticed too, that it was different mannerisms. I mean, this dude, he is the slowest person to face the nation. It took him 58 days. The longest, let me see and read this. Let me find this. Who was the last person? Nope. Now I switched my phone over, but this one still got all this information. Let's see my pictures. It should be in my pictures. Trump had the previous record of the longest person to face the nation was 27 days. It took Biden 58 days. Hoover 1 day, Roosevelt 4 days, Truman 5 days, 28 days. So the record is 28 days, Eisenhower. Kennedy 5 days, LBJ 15 days, Nixon 7 days, Ford 19 days, Carter 19 days, Ronald Reagan 9, W. Bush 7, Clinton 9. Okay, W. So H. Bush 7, W was 33 days. So it took him the longest because he was stupid. So it was a reason. And he's not taking questions. And then Sister Girl ain't answering about Cuomo because Sister Girl is in bed with Cuomo. Sister Girl, when they was trying to get the Supreme Court judge, she telling them she believes the women. Remember that when she was grilling Kavanaugh and Kavanaugh's accuser? When they put Kavanaugh in a wig and made him pretend he was a woman. Did y'all notice that was Kavanaugh with the long hair accusing Kavanaugh? Y'all notice that? That was Kavanaugh dressed as a woman. Kind of looked like Bill Gates' wife when he had the woman's wig on. But she was all on that shit. She was believing the accusers. Sister Girl ain't came out and said shit about Cuomo shit. And they got Cuomo. They got his ass. And they getting Big Gretch too. They about to go after Big Gretch. Big Gretch did the same thing as Cuomo, taking sick people and putting them in rest homes to purge them. See, it's even a distraction saying that they're guilty. It's not just, you tell the truth of what they did. They were purging old people. That's why they were sticking those sick people with old people. It was a purge. It was a purge and nothing more than a purge. What you looking for? Oh, I left 2 jugs in the car. I forgot to bring them
in the garage?
No, it's in the car.
Say less.
It's in the truck in the back seat.
Say less.
Behind.
Say less.
Bring them both in.
Say less.
When you think about weird as fuck, that entire group of gold complected. Where'd it go? I missed it. Beyond that extra group of complected beings in the physical can take over an entire realm and form a matrix this long. Okay. Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. I work on a resort island. People have been traveling and cooking out with their families. Yeah. I mean, up here, it was never a quarantine up here. Other than not letting us go into stores, as many people, but it was never. I mean, they took away jobs, but far as quarantine, no, it's nothing like that. I don't know anybody. I don't know one person that doesn't deal with people. And remember how Amazon was mad because all of the Walmarts was open, like electronics, everything, and Amazon was crying foul. Amazon was like, "That's foul. You can't do that. You can't let them sell everything." So it was a money grab. Everybody knows that shit was a money grab. Could be Tom Hanks playing the role of Biden. Yeah, conscious daughter. I agree. Are you having a pro-mass rally in Austin? They're having okay. Hey Samuel, hope all is well. Yeah, I'm feeling better today. Conscious spiritual leader said they took Chadwick Boseman and another female actor, auctioned them, and what Tom Hanks' wife had to pay to inhabit their body permanently, like in Get Out. Interesting. Like a step in. Hey, hey, conscious daughter, thank you. The stimulus caps out at $3,200 if all that money went to people and not to the bailout corporate America. Bailout corporate America, we would be getting $40K exactly. I mean, what they gave before in the last 2 stimulus was like 50 grand a piece to Israel. Israel has 8 million people, and the money they've given them in this stimulus is like $58,000 per Israeli. I mean, this was a crime. We're in a police state. Only, and my mother kept saying that, Trump's going to be a dictator. Then that's just how blind she is. Only dictators need troops in their capital. Only communists hide behind fences. And you don't think that, number one, the Democrats started this. It was the only way they could win. The Democrats did the stuff on the 6th. They blamed it on Trump, but that's all a Democratic thing. I've said many times before, there wasn't no killers up there. That they weren't trying to change anything. That was all an act. That was an act to set their communist agenda. Because without that action, they couldn't set up their communist agenda. So they did all that. They did all of it. And Republicans was part of it too. Don't think some of them wasn't part of it. I ain't that naive. But this sickness and everything helped them. Let's be honest. Without none of this sickness, and if everything would have went the same, Trump would have won easy. The sickness is what took him out, nothing else. So plastic surgery is very simple nowadays. It is. Hey, Rocky, thank you for joining. Yeah, hella death fakers. Plastic surgery is very simple, I believe. At this point, these Trump haters are just dumb. Anthony Boudin to Paul Walker to Nipsey, Kobe, Teshawn. Yeah, Samuel. Trump was the best president of the United States. I don't know about that, but things were definitely, he wasn't a warmonger. Yeah, they took out one guy. He had to appease some war hawk to take off that one guy. He pulled troops out of Afghanistan. And at one point, there was more troops in D.C. than there was in Afghanistan. Right now, the National Guard commanders are saying, why are we here? Why are we costing $400 million to be here in D.C.? Right now, there's an army 20 miles away from me. And this is what I don't understand. Let me go on this. During the Final Four and during the Super Bowl, there was an army here in Minnesota. On my other channel, I showed a short video of the amount of army that was in downtown Minneapolis for the Super Bowl. And the thing I showed was the Final Four. It was the Sunday before the Final Four in the Coliseum. Took my daughter, my best friend, and I went. I had signed up for free. The children got basketballs and shirts. There was food everywhere. You could buy food and play video games. I mean, it was a day thing, kind of cool. But there was an army. Where'd that army go when all the protests came? Think if that would have happened during the Super Bowl. You don't think they would have met force with force? So do you see how they let it happen in some ways? And then they put up the 3rd-degree murder and manslaughter on Shabbos today too. They let that go through. Can you buy a loyalty? I mean, you see those tricks done. You see the tricks done in D.C. all the time. So yeah, I mean, it just, really you got to put that in context, because who are you trying to buy it from? Now, a weak-minded person is kind of easy to buy that from them, but a person that's a critical thinker and a little stronger thinker might not, might take more. It's like they may bargain for what else, or what's the advantage of me doing this? So you can, but it's just it's all kept it real and didn't sell fear. Yeah, he didn't sell fear. No. So saying you can't buy happiness, I think you can buy a little happy with a little money. You can somewhat. Conscious daughter says she misses it. Trump is still out here about like he be president. He trying to get them in 24 bids in. Sister Girl is doing the same thing. That's why Sister Girl is mixed up, because she was counting on Cuomo to help her get New York. That's what she was counting on, and now they putting pressure on his neck. And let's be honest, it's politics by the Republicans. Republicans is the one pushing this, and they getting him out of there, and they're going to get him with type of corruption too. He took all that money from his book, and they're going to get Big Gretch, because Big Gretch, what she did was unconstitutional. She did an end run. She did an end run on the Supreme Court that told her you can't do this. So she brings her health advisor in, and her health advisor keeps the lockdown going. The health advisor quits and does a non-disclosure and a big payoff. There was another health person in there. The health advisor that called the mask mandate and the lockdown, he got something like 180,000. The other dude that they let go, the guy also got a non-disclosure. He got something like 85,000. So Big Gretch is just as guilty as Cuomo on those deaths. Because again, who did she attack? Who did Big Gretch attack? Nursing homes in melanated Detroit. That's what she was going after. She was going after Detroit, putting many as affected people around old people and then trying to spread it that way. And that's why it hit Detroit so hard. And fear, let's be honest, fear. We don't know what's in the skies over Detroit. We don't know what's in the water over Detroit. Detroit is now on the same water that Flint is on. Now, supposedly Flint is switched back to getting Detroit River water. So we don't really know. We don't really know. We just got reported deaths. And again, look at the births. Remember, if you got hit by a bus, like even Floyd, this Floyd trial is all bloom, and they got six jurors and 2 alternates. But Floyd died of COVID too. They gonna say that Floyd was fentanyl, crystal meth, COVID. They gonna say, oh, that's what killed him. They already said that. That's what the coroner report was here. It didn't say nothing about Chavez doing what he's done. And there's precedents. As I mentioned last night, the person in New York, they flipped on his stomach and they died. They said he overdosed. Yes, it did hasten his death because he was on his stomach handcuffed. But they said basically what killed him is he did too much cocaine. Don't be surprised if they say that about Chauvin. Isn't Harris an Indian? She's a dot Indian. Harris is a dot Indian. Yes, sister girl. Because she only want to be black when it's time. She's married to a Jewish faith cat. So was she trying to do the culture then? When she found that Jewish faith cat, after tricking with Willie Brown, remember, she was one of Willie Brown's tricks. Willie Brown was her original handler. So Willie Brown was taking her in the rooms. But then she marries a Jewish faith guy. Look at that dude. Do you really think she loved that cat? No, it was a marriage, a power marriage. So when she married that cat, was she really trying to was she trying to push the culture? No, the culture is only important to her when she wants votes. And don't forget all of her people she locked up in California. Awen got me calling homegirl sister girl. That's all I call her. It makes my mother so mad. Which one of her parents? Her father is from Jamaica. Her father is from Jamaica. That's which one of her parents. Like, look at the picture of her mother, and I don't know who the old Indian dude is. He don't look too happy. And her sister, and I don't know if those are children's in front, but it's like whichever Indian man is in that picture, he's looking like, yeah, who are all these niggas here? he ain't looking happy. Her mother looks happy, but whoever that old dude in glasses on, he's like, yeah, this is one too many niggas here for me. Joe Rogan legit? Every other dude I know gets all their opinions and ideas from Joe podcast. Like, yeah, I don't fuck with Joe, so I don't even know. Do you really believe that he's deceased? Who is deceased? Who? When do I believe conscious daughter? Who is deceased? Who? What did I miss? Who conscious daughter? Who is deceased? I'm not sure. Yeah, Rogan is a sellout. Yep. I'm a dot Indian, heads up, CEO, Pepsi, Frito-Lay, Indian lady, CEO, MasterCard, Indian guy. There you go. Sister girl is so perfect. I see all those fake black folks all the time. It's like even on Crab Facts, the one dude that was the boxer, he's always defending her. You know, she's black. I mean, black is a culture. It's not a people, it's a culture. It's a lifestyle. Now, can we say she lived that lifestyle? She went to Howard. She joined a frat. That's all boule. That's boule. She went to Howard. She joined a sorority. She went out to California. City prosecutor, then the whole state prosecutor. Where was her in her culture then? She's only in the culture when she can get votes. She was so much in the culture, again, Jewish faith husband. You can love anybody you love and marry anybody you want, but I'm just saying, you were so engulfed in the culture. That's a marriage for power. That's not a marriage for love. GF. Come on, you know I'll be old man and conscious daughter. GF, you got to give me. I don't believe the GF is really deceased, but that's my opinion. Okay, GF. Come on, you got it. Range Rover and Jaguar owned by India. Oh my goodness, yeah. And I heard a breakdown of the company that used to own them. That Scotty, Rev Your Engine guys. Yeah. Try to get Land Rovers a couple years ago because that Indian company, yeah. George Floyd. Do I believe he's dead? It seemed like an act. Because there's footage of him getting arrested by 5 or 6 officers before. And when you see them all stop him and all around him, and he's like, do you need all this? And then I was one of the first, probably the first to put that porn video on Facebook. Boule on his chest, Mason stuff on his chest. So yeah, he could very well not be. He very well could not be. It wouldn't surprise me if he wasn't. I bang and troll for my brotherhood. There you go. It's a description, not a people. There you go. But it's a culture. Black is a culture. You know, you can look at it as a culture. Rachel Dolezal does more about black culture than Miss Harris. Yes, conscious, he's a Mason, and he had that big Mason all on his chest. Indeed, he did. So it could be fake. It really could. I don't think they were surprised about the amount of young people that poured out. And right now, we having shootings every night. We having shootings on the north side and the south side every night. It's shootings. And the police are allowing it. And I'm saying the police are participating in it. They are causing some of this. What the police are probably doing is going to the people they let hustle, that they was taking kickbacks. And it's like, go ahead, if you got any beef, go after them now. And so you're seeing a lot of shootings over there now. And because, again, people didn't want them. I mean, hell, you got 100 years of being mistreated by this police department. Again, the gang task force was so out of control, they could just break in your house and take your stuff. And you would never get it back. Guilty or not, you couldn't get your stuff back. Just because this gang task force thought you had some gang drug related. This is how out of control this whole department has been up here. So when the people went to the streets, and again, and let me say the other part, this Asian psyop. We got 600,000 Asians that live here, Hmong, mostly Hmong, that they brought here after the Vietnamese War, the Vietnam War. Ain't nobody messing with them. Do you know how many Asian gangs we have in St. Paul? Look at the old film years ago of where the Asian gangs shot 7, 8 people. I think they killed them all in the arcade. It was probably 10 years ago, maybe slightly longer. Maybe in 08, 07, 08, something like that. These Asian gangs, ain't nobody messing with them over in St. Paul. These Hmong stay together. They mostly live around each other. Ain't nobody messing with Asians up here. So you know it's a psyop because they want to bring them motherfuckers in from the UN. They want to say that the UN Chinese troops is the only one can help the Asians. Do you notice he put that in there? We can't continue. Who walking around saying you the motherfuckers that gave us this shit? That's some shit that Europeans do. Europeans trip off that. That ain't nothing we trip off of. Who is blaming them now? You know, remember the early things about the Europeans? The Europeans was fucking with them. But now all of a sudden they want to say brothers is going after them. And we know what you do with blackface, America. It ain't hard for you to put a mask on. It ain't hard for you to wear a hoodie. It ain't hard for you to pay a dark-skinned person and make them jump on an Asian. So when you see it highlighted, that's a psyop, because it's forgetting the crime against our people. See, remember what he said is the Spanish people or Mexican brothers and sisters is going to outnumber y'all. It's like we Europeans, because again, they ain't having babies. Who knows Europeans had to have more than one child? Girl lives under me, one. Lady slightly younger than me, live over there, one. Young girl that used to live over here, one. Young lady live across from me, probably 30, none. Now I'm talking about European. No, another European girl. She lives in the buildings over across from me, one. My daughter's godmother, one. Her father has another daughter. She has an older sister by someone else. They're not having children. So that's why you're seeing all the commercials with the mixed families. Sometimes they put them with Hispanics. Sometimes they put them with brothers and sisters. We're seeing all this because, again, they're what Dr. Wesleyan is saying is right. It's about genetic survival for them. Because they're a generation from about being disappearing. So they're trying to find a way to survive. And so they make all these psyops. Again, I live in a big Asian community and ain't nobody messing with these people. No one. Well, I told the Black Lives Matter story before. They had disappeared. They weren't relevant. Floyd made them relevant. And they wasn't here at Floyd from the beginning. They came a couple of days later. And then what did all the news signs show? All the news was showing pictures of Black Lives Matter in the front. Did y'all notice that? I noticed that. They wasn't here the first nights. You didn't see no Black Lives Matter burning that precinct number 3, I think it was, 3rd precinct. You didn't see any Black Lives Matter trying to burn that shit down. The day before, when the precinct was open and they was stoning the shit out of all the cops' cars, they fucked all them cars up. They fucked their personal cars up. They fucked all the patrol cars up. You didn't see no only Black Lives Matter doing that shit. Atlanta was really already ruined. Have you ever thought who runs ATL? Actually, the whole state. Ted Turner owns how much of Georgia? Ted Turner died, didn't he? Didn't Ted Turner die? Ted Turner owned most of Wyoming, too, to keep the little kids thinking they can make it. Trey Lance. Atlanta is Black Boule capital of the world. It is. Hey, Edward Bailey, thank you for joining me. Yeah, give me an email. I'll bring you back on. I don't even see Asians in the South unless they say Chinese restaurants. Yeah, BML is a joke. I mean, you see, they're already saying that the local branches didn't get the money, that the main headquarters is the one that got the money, not the local branches. So yeah, it's not for the people. And then again, when they got busted out saying trying to destroy the fathers in the family, that watch that brother that brings that up to the school council and said, did y'all look at this to get rid of the man out the home? They took that shit out. Right after Floyd, they took that shit out. Right after Floyd, they took all that shit out. But it was right there in their whatever you want to call it, bylaws. Philadelphia is the Boule capital. Atlanta is the Baphomet gay agenda. Yeah, Asians are the majority of these at the university that are full of Asians. I agree, even back when I went to school at Black College. 400 dance incoming. Hey, Jeffrey, Do you think Trayvon Martin's parents had something to do with his death? His daddy was a high Mason, so I think that was all a lie. I don't think that boy got killed. And I see, like, when you watch people, like when Brother Panic said that he saw Trayvon Martin in the ethers, it was like, okay, you fake. That was the one I looked at. I was kind of digging this shit. Then he said he saw him in the ethers. I'm like, you fake. Because that dude ain't dead. That was all the psyop as well. It was that divide. It was that OJ shit. You know, that OJ shit all over again. Whenever people get along too well. Now, somebody asked the times when it was free. When Jimmy Carter became president, right after Nixon, people hated the government so much. They saw all the crookedness. The 4 years of Jimmy Carter, which I still think is JFK, it was a difference. You know, a European said nigga, he got popped in the mouth, and everybody thought that was the right thing. It was like, you know, you in school and a European called you a nigga in school and you fired on him, you go in front of the principal, and the principal's like, why did you fire on little Johnny? He called me a nigger. Good thing. Fire on him again. That's how it was handled. Don't say that shit. It wasn't the hip shit. If you go with a brother, you can just say nigga because you go with a brother. That's my wife's family. My ex-wife's family is all like that. They talking to brothers, got babies by brothers. And, you know, that used to irritate me back in the early 2000s. But that's what it's changed to. Because you mess with a brother or you got a baby by a brother, you can say nigga. That gives you a pass to say nigga. But those 4 years, you really saw a cooperation. You really did. You really did. And it was just, I don't know. It was like America has never really looked like that before. We coming right off the civil rights. We coming right out of Vietnam. Government trust was very low. Tricky Dick quit. They bring the puppet Ford in, whose only job was to fucking pardon him. Ford was from Michigan. There's an airport and a museum. His presidential museum is in Michigan in Grand Rapids. So those 6 years, and then what did they do? Racist ass Reagan. Reagan went around to everybody and said, we're going to make them niggas again. It's okay to say nigga again. It's okay to say we're wealthy and better than you again. I mean, look at Reagan's agenda. That was the only reason. Reagan was a puppet. He was a puppet. The whole world is a stage. I mentored, also taught several young melanated and Hispanic men in martial arts, spotter boxing. That's cool. There's documentary on Trevin, and the whole story is based off a lie. Even the slow fat girl was told how to talk in court. I don't doubt that. I hate when you point out that EBM is about the people still supporting it, like a support the movement. Fucking clowns. I generally hate they dumbasses. These lodges, Jeffrey equals on YT. These lodges are going to burn down one day. Old men are holding these secrets. I did a video exposing psyops such as Trayvon Martin and Emmett Till. Yeah, Emmett Till was so fake that Emmett Till was so fake that it just made no sense. Anybody looking at that body, you know it was fake. You look at that shit now, and there's no way you think that's real. And she said that they wanted to, so you saw how he looked. You can tell that is a doll. It is no way that's real. And then the whole story makes no sense. Now, I don't know about y'all, if y'all know any brothers that lived in these farms in the 50s. If I have people in Mississippi, and if anybody would have knocked on any of my relatives' door at 3, 4 in the morning, it would have been a shotgun pointing at them. And this is the story. Let me get into Emmett Till for a second. Okay. So this is supposedly what happened. He stuttered. Because there's a bunch of different stories on the why. It's a bunch of on the why of Emmett Till. Emmett Till stuttered. So when he had to say certain words, he kind of had to whistle. That was kind of a way to stop stuttering. But it's two things. One says he put the money in her hand, and the other says when he asked something, he kind of whistled. Well, he stuttered in a way to get out of stuttering. But again, any of my relatives, you'd have came at 3 or 4 in the morning, anybody in the South, they would have had a shotgun at the door. Not just take my little boy. And then they tell the story. I want to say about the grandfather. So the grandfather got so much courage to testify against these dudes, but you didn't have courage enough to shoot these dudes to stop them from taking your nephew, who's actually staying with his uncle, great uncle. So you had courage enough to testify against these dudes. You didn't have courage enough to open the door with a shotgun. No time did you think, get my shotgun, I'll die defending this child. That's not in any other story. I will die defending this child. No, his courage was he testified against them. The grandfather was really good. He testified against them. But it was, again, a scare tactic to scare Northerners from going to the South. That was basically it, to scare them. You know what happens when 15 brothers travel? 15 cars would go to the South. You think they were stopping them like that? When cars out of Chicago would go 15, 20 cars deep through the South, you think they were stopping them like that? And then the stories come out that supposedly it was 2 brothers that held him in the back of the truck. Because the white dudes, the European dudes, tell you that they just put him in the back of the truck and he stayed in the back of the truck. So this is the original story, is that they put him in the back of the truck. He just stays in the back, never jumps off and tries to run. He just stays in the back. And then when they did the 60 Minutes special, they said it was 2 brothers that held him in the back. And then they beat this boy to death. Do you know how tall Emmett Till was? He was like 5'1", 5'2". Wasn't a big guy. He was small for his age. So it would take all that to beat up a boy that's 5'2". 2 grown men, it would take all that. So it was all a psyop. It was all a psyop to scare people. Where I went too far. We have been lied to since television. We have. Wow, I thought he was a real story. Emmett Till was a subtle occult psyop. I've known Emmett Till was BS for years. Yeah, Jay. When they interviewed them, they was reading scripts. They were. Emmett have something to do with the Masons. I didn't find that. I always tell the story about the Vietnam vet that used to live with me. He was a Mobley. And if you remember, the mother married Mr. Mobley. If you read the book, Emmett would have called him Mr. Mobley. That was a person that taught Emmett how to drive. My friend was a Mobley. So this would have been my friend's, by marriage. Emmett would have been a cousin by marriage because his name was Ray Mobley. He was related to that Mobley. Matter of fact, Ronnie Spector, be my little baby. She was a Mobley as well. I don't know if her maiden name was Mobley, but she was related to the Mobleys too, because Ronnie Spector was Ray's first cousin. And so she was related by marriage to Emmett Till as well. So, yeah, she, it was a psyop. That whole thing leaving the casket open, they didn't put, it's always a psyop. The woman whose accuser is listed in the MIB Actors Guild. That means she was an actor. Exactly. Good share. Good share. The machine has been putting us against each other for years. Black is consciousness, white is control, yin and yang, but we have no balance at all. Good one, read my soul. Yes, bullshit story. You've seen it brought up again on HBO with Lovecraft Country with the white woman being lynched, with Emmett died too. They show this to keep, trauma and racism. Pictures all staged, Whenever we get close together, they rip us apart. That's right. Hey, CJ, his mother was an Eastern Star. I have not come across that, but okay. I have not come across that because I was saying with Mr. Mobley, I had never heard that before, but could be. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because, again, that was in Chicago. Establishing Pac-Man. Establishing fear has always been the first option in the agenda, even back to the Reefer Madness. The Reefer Madness. Well, no, when they got rid of hemp and all the healing varieties of hemp. That was by the Rockefellers. The Rockefellers were sold behind that to get rid of hemp. They didn't like the competition. I mean, the Rockefellers and the Firestone people, the Rockefellers and what's the Nelson Rockefeller? Yeah, maybe it is them. Is the ones that pushed our doctors. Our doctors work through Rockefeller created where they get their licensing from. That's all the elite controlled. The elite wanted to get rid of natural remedies. That's why if you go back into really when these Protestants came over here, how the witches they said was people going out in the woods and getting natural herbs. That's what they was calling witchcraft. And then they let a 12-year-old girl get all these people killed. One 12-year-old girl got almost 12 people killed as witches. One girl. Read the papers. Establish your fear. Yep. What's happening? CJ, thank you for joining me. Hey, Samuel, thank you. Trump legalized hemp. Yes, he did. And now you're seeing the CBDs and all the let me see if this helps. All the uses of it. Matter of fact, my Russian guy just got back with me. So soon as I see how long it takes for me to get this powder, I'm going to get some CBD cream. And I'm trying to go, I might even get some real cream, not just CBD, but cream, a real cream from Real Bud, and put the Sugarite powder with it. But I think the first batches I'm going to do is just going to be with CBD and just see how it goes. Because again, Sugarite, you can put it on several of your, you can put it on topically as well. You just don't have to ingest it. You can actually put it on pain centers or pain nerves or nerves. Different nerves or even pressure points. Oh yeah. Did I put that on? Did I put that out there? I know I put it on I know I put that on what do you write me? I know I put that on did I put that on YouTube? Because did I put that on here? Let's see. I didn't think I put it out there, did I? Forgot. Did I put? Oh yeah, so I did. Yeah. The attack on mom and dad. Absolutely. I wonder if I couldn't remember. But yeah, again, that's communism. Communism, you want to take away those names. Because the goal of communism and the goal of the Gestapo is that your child will tell on you. That your own child, your own family, their allegiance is with the state. So yeah, there's no need to call you mom. There's no need to call you dad. There's no need for she, he. I mean, that we know where that's coming from. That's an agenda there. But yeah, to get rid of mom and dad, mother and father, that's communism. I mean, only like my mother would always say, Trump wants to be a dictator. Biden is acting like a dictator right now. Biden has troops around DC, which we've never seen. What did they say about Caesar? Caesar should never have troops into Rome. Well, Caesar took troops into Rome. But the Republic was supposed to be no one marched on Rome. The Democrats set up this fake thing where no killers. I doubt people got killed up there. I think that was all fake, that anyone got killed. Have you seen the movie in Paul Getty and his grandson getting kidnapped in the 70s? He said, fuck his grandson, no money. They had to cut off an ear before he did something. Yeah, I read about the story back then. Yeah, I'm going to say it again. Trump was the best president. Weed and coke was believed to make white women sleep with black men, so he legaled it. There you go. Oh, that was the lie. That was the lie. Well, you know, another thing, what it said is they said weed made a brother think he was good as the European. That's what some of the writing said. When brothers smoke weed, they think they're as good as we are. So we can't have them smoking it. Caesar wanted to rule the world. Do you think they killed as many Jews as they say? And what about Hitler being chosen as a golden boy for another money-making war for the elites? No, again, look up the Nazis and the Jews, the Jewish faith people working together to send people to Israel. They started that in the 20s. A big group of them left. About 20,000 went. Something that I really lost that I wish I was kept is I had an article that showed that in all of Europe, it was only like 300,000-400,000 in basic Europe. Basic Europe only had 300,000 or 400,000 in all of Europe. And in Germany had something like 7 million, 8 million, and maybe more, maybe up to 14 million. 1% was Jewish, and the numbers turned out to be like 100,000. That was it. When they show you them films of them boycotting, and again, they boycotted Jewish stores because the Jewish faith people in America were boycotting German products. See, they don't want to tell you that when they don't show the movies in context. When they try to show you that the Nazis was boarding up and stopping people from going there, they don't tell you that part though. That the Jewish faith people in America was boycotting German products. So them pictures is basically taken for, think about 100,000 people in small little towns. That's one. Look at the footage of them boycotting. You only seeing one block. It's one shooting from one block. So no, nowhere near the amount of people they say they were killed, because there weren't that many people to kill. Now, in Russia, that's a different story, but all of them was Jewish in Russia. The Bolsheviks were Jewish faith people. And Hitler was the only one. Hitler was the only one really in history to fight the Jewish faith people. Now, I know a lot of people don't like hearing that, but that's a fact. He's the only one that went to war against the Jewish faith people. Now, I know you might say in 67, the 4-day war, 7-day war, they kind of fought them. They did, but that was heavily backed by America. They had America Phantom jets over there fighting them, and American tanks. They did create the Uzi guns and stuff, but America they had American advisors helping them against all the Arab countries. So no, not many, as they say. There weren't that many in all of Europe. The most were in Russia. It's crazy how people say Trump wanted to be a dictator. They should look up Stalin, and these were real madmen. Exactly. Have you heard any stories of the U.S. military bringing dead soldiers back to life during Vietnam? It was the start of the Universal Soldier story. Real. I've heard about this project. I love hearing that. More in myth. Not really any hard evidence about that. More in myth. That's of course Logan's story. Doesn't that even go back into a little bit of the Punisher? Isn't it some of that talking to Punisher about the super soldier? So did they experiment on people in Vietnam? Very possibly. Very possibly. That's what war is about. War is about experimentation. They don't want to tell you the experiments American was doing on people. Like, why was they bringing German soldiers and bringing them to America, prisoners of war? Why was they bringing them all the way to America? And this is a true story. They brought German soldiers, and I've said this before, they brought German soldiers to Michigan. German soldiers refused to go back to Germany and stayed in Michigan, and they let them work in Kellogg's or Post to get that generational wealth. When the war ended, the people said they wanted to stay here because they wanted to work in America. And those very prisoners that was at Fort Custer, you can look all that up, Fort Custer, Battle Creek or Galesburg, they'll probably say Galesburg. Them people stayed and got to work in, peak Post, peak Kellogg. And you think they was letting brothers do that? Because brothers was getting mad in Battle Creek. Brothers was like, how are they getting opportunities? You just went to war with them. How are they getting opportunities and we're not getting opportunities? So a lot of brothers started protesting, and they was bringing brothers in after that. A lot of brothers was pissed. It's like, how are you hiring Nazis? And that's what Post and Kellogg did. They started hiring Nazis. And you can look that up. That ain't no secret. And that tells you the racism. They hire Nazis before they hire people to live there. I done chewed the hell out of this thing. I have chewed the hell out of this thing. Mm. Mm. Has it that the Chinese been making super soldiers? Well, I guess this will go back into this. So, what all they did, they just want to say, they just want to tell you that the Nazis did it, but all armies was taking crystal meth during World War II. All armies. They only want to admit that they want to tell you that only the Nazis was taking that shit. Americans was taking that shit too. They had crystal meth that the Americans was taking too. So that creates a super soldier right there. You don't need to sleep. You don't need to eat. You just fight. So don't let them say that just the Nazis was taking crystal meth. All soldiers during World War II was taking crystal meth. But they don't want to tell you about the American companies that made crystal meth back then. They just want to tell you about the Nazis that made it, the National Socialists. Oh, is Mormon a Jewish faith? I don't think so. Because they kind of break off from all of them. So I think Mormonism is different. They have Cyborg, MK Ultra, and Spiritual. These are the three. The spiritual ones can be done by having the warrior spirit. Operation Paperclip is, I don't think so, Whitey. I don't think so. I think that's separate. Because what they did is they sacrificed John Smith. They found something. My brother gets really deep into that. They found something in them mounds in Ohio. In Ohio, they found something in the mounds in Ohio, and whatever they found, they gave them people a state. Whatever faith people were given a whole state. So it's something they hold. They have one of the ancient relics, no doubt. They have one of the ancient relics. And whatever ancient relics they hold, they give in to them people. They gave them a state. They damn near put in Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney really thought he was going to win. But people like the, fake Obama. He was another fake person. I would call him brother man. Because he only wanted to be a brother when he's in front of votes. Where's Obama with the brothers now? Look who Michelle is talking to. She's talking to this little weird old little boy. And then her about trans people, she's on the cover. She's on the cover. So is that Michael? I couldn't say. Well, we are screwed. Melanated America and the U.S. itself. Yeah, in a lot of ways, Rocky. Nazis were interested in zombies too. There's been a lot of shows depicting they were involved and brought it here. Their Call of Duty game about it. Yeah, Joseph Smith. Yep, Joseph Smith. Maybe I said the wrong name. I'm sorry. What is a 33 degree? That's the highest that you can get when you mess with the Masons. It's like if you go, like most people go up to 32 because you've got to pay cash. It used to be 10 grand to get a 33. And it opens up a few more secrets. The more money you put in it, the higher you can go up. It's all about money. The more money you pay in being a Mason, the higher you can go up. The more secrets you can get revealed. So most people get to be 32, and then they, aren't as involved. Because I've got a couple relatives that got up to 32 and then they quit being involved. But my great uncle that was in World War II, I'm pretty sure he was a 33 degree Mason, and they called him Uncle Charlie McCants. My friend Dennis' dad. He was the first one I ever met. Big Mike. Was Barack a CIA agent before he was selected? I would say probably CIA controlled. Not even, I don't know. I would say not necessarily CIA. I would say more completely military too. He was raised by the Bushes though. He's a Bush. He continued the Bush's policy. And if you dig deep, he's one of the Bushes had a hand in educating that man. So, I said LSD faith, also Mormonism. Okay, conscious daughter. Them Google watchdogs delete my comments. Yeah, they've been doing that. So 8 million folks in the U.S. are screwed. Bro, man, is the highest degree before they get to D.C. They're more past the 33 mark too. Yes, yeah. Well, yeah, of course. That's what I was saying. The more you pay, the higher you can go, but you paying to take them steps. So yeah, the more you pay, the higher you can go, and the more secrets get exposed to you, and the more people you get exposed to. I mean, I'm telling you, these suckers offered me a freaking building because I was giving raves and I was making bank. I was selling that damn. I think I was selling ecstasy pills. Golly, what? It was a lick because I took them from this dude. This dude had a jar, and it was. Oh, sometimes it was some nights $200 a pill. Some nights, and I took it from this simp. He thought, I just kind of, he brought him out and I just knew I could beat him up and take him. And it was like 1,000 and something to get this jar of them. And I just took him from him because I knew nothing he could do. I used to rough with his dad and even him. It was nothing he could do, nothing his daddy could do. I would have dog walked his daddy. So nothing he could do. And I was throwing raves. I had all the water. I would get the cardboard printed, find a place that had electricity. Warehouse, yeah, and what was his name? Beaver Combs. Little Beaver was his real name. Little Beaver Combs was his name. He's dead now. Rest in power, my friend. But Little Beaver Combs, because he was from Texas, and Little Beaver was a Mason, and he wasn't a Allen Mason, whatever they call it. Prince Hall. He wasn't a Prince Hall. It was the other one. Forget what the other Black Masons is called, but they offered me a building in downtown Battle Creek, right next to the police department. That's one thing Zach Hubbard has right. Almost all the Mason halls are near police departments, and they offered me the one in downtown Battle Creek to operate. That's pretty much what he says. Like, look, that's how they came to him. He's like, look, the brothers want to bring you in. You can operate the building. You can throw them parties you doing in the building. He said you can keep 90% of the money. This is the deal they gave me. And I'm like, just looking at him like, why would I give you anybody? I'm already keeping 100% of the money, and I got buildings. I don't need this. But it would just trip me. I listened to him. And he came at me a couple times. He said, the brothers like you, and they like that you hustle, and they need young blood. That was the one thing got me, too. He said they need young blood and get everybody interested and get back in. He said, because even if people come to party at the place, they're still coming in. And maybe somebody looks and gets interested. So I didn't go for that shit, though. Oh, it's York. No, York ones are the white ones. This is the second group of Black ones. I can't think of what they're called. Explains why after he left office, he's always been with the Bushes and Clintons. Yeah, street guys out of good stories. I should have been a thug. York. I believe those are the what am I looking for? Yeah, Scottish Rite Yorks. Beach 8 stole. Oh yeah. Police are Masons. Scottish is the blue. York is the red. Okay. But it wasn't the Prince Hall because he would fight Prince Hall Masons. He called them Princes and shit. Beaver didn't like the Prince Hall Mason. He was like, no, we ain't no Prince Halls. I forget what the other one, maybe they were called Yorks. I don't remember, but he wasn't the Prince Hall. The police fraternal order. Yeah. York is the red door. Okay. I forget what he called them, but yeah. Oh yeah, we would always just gank simps. I robbed one dude, and dude saw me at the mall buying shit with the money I made from robbing him. It wasn't nothing he was gonna do. And I had one of my boys. It was little, but I'd have beat him up in the mall. My mother was in the FOP. Okay. I know. When I was a cop. When I was a cop in Western Michigan. I was in a fraternal order police, but when I was in CAS, it was the other union. It was a completely different union because I couldn't transfer anything from one union to the other, and neither union ever did anything from me. So it was like, really, they were stealing money from me. That's how I felt. They were stealing money from me. It was like $30-40 per check, and this is 30 years ago. It was like both unions I was in was $30 to $50 per check. And when I was a rookie and on probation, I'm really not in the union, but yet I'm paying union dues. Now you make that make sense. I really wasn't even in the union, but yet I was forced to pay union dues. by contract. I had to pay union dues. And when I was on probation, I wasn't really even in the union. So it was a POE, might have been. There's a POE in Fez Heads. Tyler, what do you think about the Zack Snyder cut, far rated, our Justice League movie coming to HBO on March? 4-hour rated, and he's dropping gems in the movie. Yeah, I saw a little bit about that earlier. I mean, as much. We'll see if it's any different. We'll see. I mean, it's getting a lot of pub, so we'll see how different it's really going to be. I think it's just a way they're trying to hype it up. That's all. I think that's it. They're trying to hype it up. So, let me give the divination before I forget, because I do give freely. So we should be on day 3. So we are on Oxbal, house, enclosing darkness, night, body, place of mystery, heart, and internal organs. And this is the glimp, or this is the fractal, if anybody wants to vibrate. So we're at 13 platoons, 0 platoons, 8 tunes. We should be at 5 Uno, and we are 3 kin, maybe 6 Uno. Let's see, are we on 6 Uno? Yeah, 6 Uno and 3 kin. Yep. And then in the Toltec, in this image, we see a girl who went to Kali, the sacred house, to pray or meditate. We know what she is doing because in front of her there is a sign of the moon, which represents the mind. The symbols on top represent the water, fluctuation, the arrow, temptation, and the heart, passion, and feeling. With this simple symbolic system, the Toltec painter shows the full meaning of Kali as a place of introspection and reflection about the issues of life. Having emphasized the spiritual character of the world, Kali now, we may consider its general meaning as house, which is also the container of family life, the living hearts of people, also the container of the sleeping time and the precious dreaming time, which was so important to the Toltec people. Kali represents your home, your family life, your personal, intimate world, as opposed to your external world and social environment. The house is the temple where you keep what is most sacred for you and what is the source for the renewal of your energy and strength. If your house does not fulfill these functions, that means you need to examine how you are dealing with your intimate world. When you get this card, you will be looking at your home life and at your personal as is affected by what you are experiencing there. You will be examining your close family relationships, which will include not only those who live with you under the same roof, but also those relatives who may not live in the same house, but whom you keep a close connection with. You will also be looking at the role of spirit in your home. Occasionally, you may want to relate Kali to your dreaming world, especially if at the time you are consulting the oracle, you are having repetitive dreams that leave you with a strong feeling that their meaning is important in your life. In such times, you may need to do a reading by associating the card and the placement on the board with the dream that is coming to you. Don't be surprised as both the association with your home and your family life associating with the dreams turn out to be one and the same thing. So I give freely. If anybody can use that, please do. Please use that. It is funny, it's funny. I had to check a dude today. So I had a bunch of towels I had to wash. So I had to go to the laundromat. And it was like I had to go to physical therapy. And then I had my physical therapy ended at 1. And so I had a 2:40 appointment. So I went to the laundromat and washed my load. I didn't really dry it. I started dry, but not fully. And while I was drying, I put the little carts you take your laundry to. And there was this Mexican brother just took my cart. And I'm like, yo, why you take my cart? You see it was right here. You see my clothes in there. I was like, oh, okay. And he did the sensible thing. He didn't really panic. He finished getting his clothes and he gave it right back. Well, by then, I just checked him. I wasn't going to fight him over that shit because it wasn't that big a deal. But it was like, first, I was still going to let him know that shit was foul. What you did and disrespectful. That was my point. And by then I went and got another cart and brought it back over. And then he gave it. And because my clothes were still drying, so it wasn't like I needed it at that moment. But it was just a matter of respect because it was disrespectful. Because I'm sure he thought it was some woman and wasn't a woman gonna say shit to him. So it's just funny. It just kind of like, okay. Okay. uh, mm. Oh, hey, COVID, thank you for joining me. Smoke Tree, Israel's not requiring people to take the vaccine to travel. They're showing them there, and they got to have it to go shopping. But when they got, it's funny, they want to show all the Israelis. First of all, they hate the Palestinians, but now they're so concerned about getting them shots. You notice that? They hate the Palestinians and got their boot on their neck all the day, all the time. All the laws are against them. It is the one place that still is practicing apartheid. Is Israel. And all of a sudden, they're so worried about them that they got to give the Palestinians shots. Isn't that some shit? And then, don't you see the psyop? You don't care about those people, but yet you care about them now. And my point is why I brought it up is Amazon is in Israel. So you don't need to go in shops. You don't need to go shopping personal. Amazon is over there too. So you can go shopping on your computer. You don't got to go to shops. Now, maybe to go out and eat and shit, they might fuck with you. But like in America, I should show my work. You know how easy it is to because I got a laser printer. I got a good one. And you know how many copies I got of them damn. I've got every person I see posted on Facebook, I got them cards. Matter of fact, I got the damn, because what they do is they try to put this sticky seal card over it. I got them. So this is how the elementary the stage of this shit is. It's easy to fake that VAT card. It's easy to print them out and make them look like the shit because that's how stupid people are. People are stupid by showing them. You're showing me a little card that looks like, it's just a simple ass little card, easy to copy. It was like when they came out with the big head $100 bills. Those were the most counterfeited bills in the history of man. Here they thought when they made the big bills bigger that it would be harder to copy them. That is the most, when they first came out, what was that, 93, 92, 93, they came out with the big face hundreds. Those were the easiest and the most counterfeited money in the history of money was the big face bills. They were so easy. Any laser printer, even back then, the type of laser printers were back then that you could copy them. we were buying big eights, which is 4 ounces, with all nothing but counterfeit money. And no one ever bust me out about that. And I'm talking about same serial number, just crinkle all the money up. All the money got the same serial number. People wasn't catching on. And here we spending $3,000-4,000 with a person, giving them all the same serial numbers. And people just weren't paying attention. But it was that easy to copy them. That shit blew up in America's face. Sam, what is the name? Israel just came out and said Pfizer vac is 94% effective. Yeah, I heard you, read my soul. Not to circle back Biden's speech again, but I remembered him saying, I will be meeting with you again to tell you what you can and what you cannot do after you get. Yes, he did. Good point. Good point, Mark. He sure did say that. He absolutely did. Because he was talking about the 4th of July, talking about, well, we'll know how many people you can have in. Again, we should not any melanated people should celebrate the 4th of July. That is just as much as a mocking as Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving is you celebrating a massacre. 4th of July, you are celebrating your destruction. And it's niggas. Niggas will wear all that red, white, and blue shit. I know I got it on today, but I'm saying you're not going to see me with my 4th of July outfit. And here you seeing all these melanated people with stars and stripes, and they done spent money on this shit and taking pictures and posting it. As I've said before, Given the metaphor is 4th of July is the one thing where we go in the middle, we start grilling, dancing, and the Europeans are on the outside bombing us. And we celebrate us being bombed. It is like that. Them bombs is the bombs that came on our people, going back to Cortez, going back to Columbus. But what's up with the weather? I'm in LA near the beach, got storms I never seen before. Snow and hail is being reported. Wow. I thought you said a 4-hour movie on HBO, R-rated. Jeffrey said something about it. I think he said it was going to be longer. Yeah, the weather here, we just missed a tornado last night or 4 o'clock Central Time. It was a tornado coming directly this way. And what it did is it went more west because we started hearing the winds. And I know if hail come, it's time to go to the basement. But, and you hear a kind of a silence before the tornado comes. And then you hear tornadoes sound like a train. I mean, it really sounds like a train. I've been like a block away, and that shit is like a train. It's like you hear a train coming. The wind sound like a train, and I don't know how to explain it, but it's like if you hear a tornado and you're close enough to ever hear one, it sounds like a train. And it didn't come. It went more west, and so we got lucky yesterday. We got lucky. Niggas definitely gonna be shooting all night 4th of July. Our people are addicted to holidays. Exactly. We celebrate their holidays. I'm gonna look for Trayvon Martin. Okay, Samuel. Pac-Man, that's true. It's a 4-hour rated R movie. They let the director redo his movie because Warner Brothers screwed him. Y'all saw that he had to do it. That's why we get wise folks like you. Well, thank you. March 11th yesterday was a year that put us in lockdown. Yeah. Oh yeah. And they've been bragging all about that. They brag about that. Even Biden mentioned, Slow Joe mentioned it. That wasn't him. They got some actor to be him tonight. I was looking at his shoulders again. He has 2 horns right here, 2 veins that stick out. That cat who talked didn't have that. Now I was trying to look at the neck, trying to look at the hands. No, that was somebody else. That was some actor. That was some actor portraying Biden. But Slow Joe, that wasn't him. Mm-mm. You don't hold him back for 58 days because he ain't been really talking. And then all of a sudden you release him. No, that was an actor. And which actor, I can't say. But that was definitely not him. Yep, 311. Yeah, that's how I call him, Slow Joe and Sister Girl. That makes people on Facebook mad as hell. Why are you so disrespectful? I'm like, she's disrespectful to our people. She only care about you when she wants votes. She didn't live your experience. Oh, she went to Howard. Howard's Boulay. Deep flakes are good now. Joe Biden, Tom Hanks, that the size kind of matched up. I wouldn't doubt that because there was a fakeness to the movements and everything. So that could be a good point. I was looking at the hair. The head looked odd. The shoulders looked more slumped. It was like you look at the other Slow Joe, his shoulders are a little square. Now the cat's 2,000 years old, so I understand that. But more animated, way more animated than he ever was during the debates. This cat was way more animated. How do you go from hardly being animated at all for the year you run, and then tonight you're animated? How don't you take any questions? He has yet to take questions from any reporters. Sister Girl talked shit about something, and then they said, well, what about Como? She took off because she needs them votes in 24. She was hoping Como could get them. But you know these mugs play dirty tricks. And so they found some chink in Como's armor. Just like they went after Willie Bill. They saw his chinks in his armor when Willie Bill was saying free health care. It's like, okay, we're going to bring all these hoes back. And if they can get on Tiger for his hoes, well, I say take down Como for his hoes. Como, you just can't walk up behind girls and put your hand up their shirts. I mean, that's not right anywhere. And you can't put sick people in with old people that is purge. And Big Gretch did it too. And right now, they're looking at Big Gretch might be facing criminal charges because that's criminal. And that wasn't a purge. Max Ingram was saying the same thing. You know, he was saying that even in Australia, they was doing that, putting old, sick people with old people. Como, I mean, there's 2 hospitals they showed across the street. Now, let me take this back. There are 2 rest homes across the street. And they broke down that there was nothing like supplies. There was nothing in common of no one worked in one or the other, but yet you had the same or most deaths in each one. Here in Minnesota, the first things we hear is a rest home in North Minneapolis. Now, as my friend Demita says up in New York, what virus has a conscience like that? What virus can just come into town and say, you know, I'm looking around. Yeah, I don't want to mess with the people on Lake Minnetonka. No, I don't want to mess with those rich people who live out on the lake. I don't mess with the rich people who live around Prior Lake. I want to go to this hospital in North Minneapolis, and I'll affect some of those old people there. Impossible. Impossible. Would never happen. Impossible would never happen. So, some rumors of military tribunals and celebrities and politicians and shit being executed. True. Supposedly the last person executed. As a matter of fact, there was a TV movie about that shit years ago. The last person executed was under Eisenhower, I thought. I don't think anybody was executed for Vietnam. So that's the last time I heard of somebody being executed, as far as military wise, was under Eisenhower, when Eisenhower was the supreme commander. And maybe you can look it up and find something more, but as far as I know. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you're saying the question in modern times, I don't know. There's so much fear. I don't really study that, so I couldn't say. Rocky. I really couldn't say. I would say more than likely propaganda. Governor's name. Correct. These fuckers deserve they don't deserve. Hey, Mr. T. Are they still sticking swabs up people's cavity in China at the airports? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't believe those people would die like that. It's double back, triple play, psyop to make it look real, like the messed up, putting those patients there. All these people are lying. Yeah, again, hit by a train, you died of that. Well, we're picking up parts of his body, but I can tell you that, I'm just looking at this chunk of his thigh, and yeah, he had it. And then they'll take it back to the lab. Well, this chunk of his thigh, he had it. But you only got a chunk of his thigh. Didn't he get hit by that train? Well, in this chunk of his thigh, we found the bug, and Dash Garn, we're going to say he died of the bug. That's what they're doing. Again, look at the lives and deaths every day. The one time you should be afraid is when you see the deaths outnumber the births, and it isn't even close. They want to throw up a number again. The numbers are inflated. The Mayo Clinic, California stopped using Johns Hopkins when they trying to throw up to 500 and some thousand. That's inflated. That's saying that every death is related to the boogeyman. That's what you're getting. Every death is related to the boogeyman. Everything. So we know they're inflated numbers. We know that Johns Hopkins has lied from the beginning to inflate the numbers. So, anal probing people. Did Walt Disney substantial bequeath to his first man to become pregnant? I never heard that before, Smoked-O. To the first man to become pregnant. I don't know. I've never heard that before. According to viral videos. Jeff, have you seen the viral videos? Did I miss something? They say the flu goes away because we are social distancing and wearing masks, but all last year, not enough people were not wearing masks, and they got us. Yeah. Well, thank you, Abram. Thank you. Nobody, this is the first time in the history of recognized science that no one has died from the flu. You know, Walmart was giving free flu shots. It was like, it was, okay, how do I want to say this? It was like you walked into Walmart. It was one of the special employees was giving the flu shots. I kid you not. It was one of the door greeters was giving flu shots. Not a nurse, but a door greeter was giving flu shots. I kid you not. And a special door greeter was giving flu shots. Free flu shots by the pharmacy. Wasn't one of the pharmacists. Wasn't somebody worked in the pharmacist. It was a door greeter was giving free flu shots. And it was a dumbass sitting at the table. I'm like, wait a minute. You've had to see this person standing in the door. This person doesn't work in the pharmacy department. You would at least think somebody worked in the pharmacy department would give the flu shots. No, it was a door greeter giving flu shots. I kid you not. Kid you not. That reminds me of what Dave Chappelle said. Remember how Dave Chappelle said he had to go to the bank and the bank said, you know, drop your drawers and show your sack. And it's like, oh, okay, that's you, Mr. Chappelle. That's what that reminds me of. Drop your drawers and raise your sack. They actually have started to do anal swabbing in China about a month ago. I did a video about it. Okay, conscious daughter. Okay. Oh, I gotta subscribe to you. If I'm not subscribed to you, I'm sorry. I will look you up so I can watch that. I try to subscribe to everybody who subscribes to me. Their rigged is so good, I can't even be mad. The ultimate pimp, the people behind the machine, code. I give it to you. Yeah. This was they caused this thing. And you know, just like now, they're trying to say people is jumping on Chinese people, and that's such a lie. That was Europeans doing it at first. That's Europeans. I mean, how many Chinese folks live around brothers? You go to Chinatown. How many people in Chinatown in San Francisco live around brothers? How many people in Chinatown? Chinatown is a whole area. How many brothers live in Chinatown in Chicago? Where's the other Chinatowns? Isn't there one in New York? So brothers ain't jumping on them people like that. And where is all these old Chinese people coming from? It's like these old Chinese people don't have any friends, any family. They just got to be by themselves. So that's how you know it's a psyop. Because at first it was Europeans jumping on them at first. It was just like 9/11. They was about to burn down Dearborn because Michigan gave Arab people Dearborn. And I might say, if you like fine linen, go to Dearborn. If you don't like wearing shorts and shit in the summer and you want to wear long sleeve clothes, Dearborn has the best linen in the country. The best linen. You like wearing linen? Go to Dearborn. They have the best in America, I think. Now, it's just, as a pimp, I dress all kind of ways. So, I like fine linen sometimes. Bust out with, linen keeps you cool. Stops you from sweating. And you dressed up. Are you near the ultra-timeless zone in Minnesota? I don't think they have that here. Unless you're talking about where Floyd got killed on the south side. And none of that exists here. Unless you're talking about the south side. People during the speech, spread your cheeks and lift your sack, putting the tire bodies really deep near the navel cavity. They're probably going to have the Walmart greeters also anal swabbing. I think their hands be too shaky. I'm watching this chick trying to poke somebody, her hands is shaking. And like, at least give her some crystal meth, They want Chinese troops to invade. That's right. They're in Mexico and Canada. They are with SARS. They came from Mexico, supposedly. Guess who said people were beaten up? Yep. Same psyop, different people. Chinese people sell us shitty food and treat us like shit. So if you're from the East, you know about the China bus. There you go, read my soul. What if some people are immune to these man-made viruses? That's a good point. those Tommy Bahama silk shirts are where it's at. It's funny, smoke toe. Again, with all the technology, the way Black Machine, these zombies should not be getting played so goddamn much. Yeah, ain't nobody messing with them people. That's all a psyop. That's all it is. It's it's like Biden told the brothers. He's like, you're gonna have to bow to the Mexicans, And I don't know, is that the right word to say, Mexican? I mean, I didn't understand why Mexicans didn't like being called Mexican. I mean, if you're not from Mexico, then sorry, but yeah, it's supposed to be offensive to call them Mexicans. Now, if you're from Bolivia, I would call you whatever Bolivia people are called. If you're from Argentina, Chile, I would call you Chilean, I think is what they call them, or Argentinian. So if you're from Mexico, you get called Mexican. I mean, how is that wrong? How is that disrespectful? I remember my ex-wife there were some neighbors, and I was like, oh, the Mexicans? And she would always get mad. They don't like being called that. And I'm like, aren't they from Mexico? Didn't they used to pick fruit and shit in Michigan? Well, they did used to do that, but they don't like that anymore. I'm like, oh. So we are still niggas, but they don't get to be Mexicans anymore. All right. Chinos. Me a Chino. I really believe there are some of us who are actually immune to every virus. I think so too. I agree. U.S. Mexicans don't get offended for being called Mexican. Call me L and Bruce Wayne. Oh, here's one me and my son was tripping off of. All the people that love Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee didn't have any belts. Y'all know that shit? That's why when you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and you see that dude throw Bruce Lee in the car, that was a real story. Every Which Way But Loose, that's the real character who Clint Eastwood is playing, one of his stuntmen. So Clint Eastwood plays that dude in Every Which Way But Loose, and it was one and two. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is about the same character that Clint Eastwood made of Every Which Way But Loose, the dude who was fighting and stuff. But you see how the dude did Bruce Lee? Bruce Lee was a psyop. Bruce Lee brought martial arts to America, but this dude, where is his actual fighting? You see him do a little bit of sparring, but this dude is nothing. This dude was a psyop. This dude was like, what's his name? The Dutch dude. He was that dude. The dude that wasn't a martial arts specialist. Bruce Lee was a psyop. He held look it up now. He did not have any degrees of belts. And they calling him master. That's what the Chinese was mad about. That this dude really didn't have the training that he professed having. Now, I agree, Bruce Lee helped invent TENS units. He was one of the first, nutrition. But whose ass did he really whoop? Other than in movies. He wasn't whooping nobody's ass. Bruce Lee was a movie person. That's why Once Upon a Time in Hollywood shows you what happened to the real Bruce Lee when he got to fucking with Americans. Motherfucker slammed him into a car. And that's supposed to be based on a real true story. So Bruce Lee was a psyop. Van Damme. Bruce Lee and Van Damme is the same. Van Damme had all these trophies and shit. You looked him up and Van Damme didn't fight in any tournaments or none of that shit. He was a Hollywood person. Not like Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal was a red belt, one of the first Europeans to be able to train in China. He was the real deal. Or like the dude who played Tyson, Jay White, whatever his name is, with the steroid guy. He does martial arts and steroids. This dude is 7th degree. He put in real work. Bruce Lee didn't put any real work in people. Bruce Lee was a cha-cha dancer. Cha-cha dancer. Look it up. Bruce Lee was a cha-cha king over in China. He wasn't whooping ass. He wasn't in these fights. This dude was all Hollywood. Jackie Chan was a stunt man. Didn't think he got belts either. Jackie Chan was from, so Bruce Lee's parents was from this traveling, what is the word I'm looking for? Bruce Lee's parents also went to the school that Jackie Chan went to. It was a performing arts. Performing arts. Jackie Chan was in performing arts. And Jackie Chan just followed Bruce Lee. That's all. And Bruce Lee faked it until he made it. He faked it all. He stretched and he had a few moves and the shit looked good on TV. But Bruce Lee wasn't a master. He never got a degree from Ip Man. He never stayed long enough to get degrees. This motherfucker was faking it. And now everybody want to think he's such a star. Yeah, Van Damme, Pac-Man. Van Damme was the same way. He wasn't a champion. Johnny Cage. I don't know who that is, Greg. Time Lord. With SARS, people were supposedly beating the shit out of them, just like the Chinese in my city. The Asians, they don't fuck with me. I never had a problem with Asians in my life. Circus troupe. Yeah, exactly. The circus troupe. That's what Jackie Chan was. But so was Bruce Lee's people. They was part of that too. So look up Bruce Lee in the cha-cha. He was a cha-cha dancer. Lame Asians from New York. You see our Rudy as fuck. It will push you to get on the train and act like they don't see you. China bus is a cigarette smuggling ring. Oh, okay. Yeah, they show the gangsters, and they come up every now and then. The Chinese gangsters out in San Francisco, they show that every now and then. But it's just like in Chicago. Chicago's still one of the most segregated. You know, the Gypsies got their own town. The Italians got their own town. You know, it's like that all in Chicago. It's still one of the most segregated towns. People ain't fucking with them. Some people are immune from these viruses. I'm still not sick, and I don't know how people sick or dead. I haven't or don't this year, and I've not been sick. Have you heard about the CD guidelines for zombie apocalypse? Yeah, I've been showing that on. I talked about that last week, and I've been showing that on Facebook. That the CDC thinks all of it is gonna come, but I mean, there's some truth to it. They ain't showing you these zombie. I mean, look at what is Resident Evil comes from vaccinations. I mean, that's where Resident Evil comes from. It comes from giving the vax up. So they've been showing it to us. I mean, the original zombies come from Voodoo, where Voodoo is supposed to be able to put spells on dead folks and bring them back to life. That is where the original zombies come. But what do we see from Dawn of the Dead? Dawn of the Dead is supposed to be based, the first black and white movie of Dawn of the Dead, where they board up in the house, is supposed to be an experiment that came out of a Army base, and it's supposed to be partially true story. That the affected people got off the Army base and started attacking the local townspeople. That is part of the original story. And that's the story from the original movie of Dawn of the Dead. The very first one with the brother, the first one, the brother is the hero. That's why Vin Rings was a hero in 2 or 3 when they brought it back. Or maybe it was 2, but when they brought it back, Vin Rings was the hero because the original movie, a brother was the hero. He was popping the hell out of them zombies. That's right. The Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, the very first one. They go to VA and get the cheapest SIG carts they can find and sell them in NYC. They will ask you to buy some if you ride the bus and give you no money for it. Wow. It's interesting. Dawn of the Dead is at the mall. Yep, it's at the mall. That's right. The second was at the mall. But Resident Evil tells you they get vaccinated. So there's a lot of stories. I Legend. Remember? They got vaccinated and got the wrong shit. So that's what we see over and over again. Zack Snyder, again, Dawn of the Dead. We make it through, movies, everyone. And so that's what they base it off of. That is what they base it off of. Tobacco is good for the throat. Yeah, yesterday my throat was feeling so weak. But that's what we're facing now. We're facing that. How long I've been going? Okay, not too bad. And now it's just, as I was saying, be prepared. If you just now going into Astro, be prepared because, again, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but they can be in the Astro as well. So be prepared. And maybe I need to emphasize the Tsar movement because the Tsar movement seems to trump both of the Astros and the Ethers. Seems to be able to interrupt both of those. And so maybe I need to do a concentrated effort to show more people that type of movement. it's quite advanced and doesn't really. I mean, you really got to study that. I don't know. I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know if it would be an easy teach. I don't know if it'd be easy teach because it does. I don't know, and it deals with possession. I'll be honest, it deals with possession too. But you can possess animals. I mean, it ain't like you just got to possess a person, and you can possess different timelines. So, but I just want people to understand. As you start going into the ethers and the astros, they go there too. I mean, they pay people to go there because they want to see what you can do. So I know one of my friends was saying she's been getting attacked, and that's what you got to consider, that it could be the government attacking you in those. It could be agents in that too. So I don't want people to be naive and think that you're in that and they can't go there. They can go there. That's why it's important to have, like right now, I've got all these protections around me. So spiritually, they really can't fuck with me. I told you, there was something that shook this building, and I felt it. I felt the spiritual attack that shook the building, but they physically couldn't fuck with me because this shit is set up right. And so, you don't want to go into it half-heartedly. You really want to have a lot of your stuff together. I guess that's my point. So don't be so quick to jump in it without having to be protected. And simple protections is, you have, did you see it jump like that? I guess it didn't expect me to lift. You can have just, I've got a lot of black stones around me right now. I've got my personal Shugite, my royal Shugite around me right now, so. Nice. They didn't shoot some of the recent ones here. What is the Tsar stuff talking about? Well, these sisters have a spiritual system in Sudan. And one thing they could do is they could capture European souls. I mean, it captured a lot of European souls. But for good fortune, they are able to they spill blood, and they're able to let the given soul that they've caught possess them. And then you give the soul certain favors, and in that possession, it gives favors back. But what I've learned is you don't need to do that. You don't need the blood. It can't say anybody could do it, and this book has a keeper, definitely. But once you learn this and you see that there's another way to move other than the astros and the ethers, it gives you an alternate movement. And it seems to trump those. It seems to trump both of those. And what I mean is you can interrupt either one of those. So you can move through them, and the ethers and the astro, you can interrupt that shit. So this is another possibility. And maybe I'll try to get a little deeper. I think I'm going to end up having to read it again because I can't find this one shit that shows that a person was able not only to go into the writer's past, she was able to possess the writer in her past. So she went to the writer, she went to the Zoom, the Tsar, almost like hallways. Logan kind of shows this no, not Logan. What is it? I'm on the spot and I can't think of the TV show, but it shows that. Now I'll think of it in a minute because it was based off a Marvel character, but I'll think of it in a minute. But it's an alternative. But not only does she possess her, she possesses her in the past. So you see how deep that shit is? So you can go into the past. And like this show we talked about with Jeffrey, where the person was moving. Remember, he would go to the past and he'd look in the mirror. He'd be somebody every week. That was through Tsar movement. That wasn't through, time travel. Quantum leap. Quantum's leap, he was possessing people. So that was Tsar movement. That wasn't quantum. That had nothing to do with quantum. He was possessing people. Remember, he was straight up possessing people. So that was more Tsar than it would have been quantum. He was going back and possessing people. And they were, he's doing good possessing people. That's possession. 60 seconds after a bite, they gladly. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. I can't even logically understand what you're saying when talking about the astro. Okay. what's the deal with crystals? I get into that about 2 weeks ago. I looked at when you showed it. Wonder what Biden's handler. They have a picture of him carrying, maybe his wife, could be. You mean WandaVision? No, it was called Legion. Legion. It was called Legion, and Legion is a Marvel character. Legion, the TV show Legion. I taped all of them, and Legion shows time hallways, but the Tsar movement is kind of very similar to a time hallway. And again, if you can possess a person in the past, that's some bad shit. So, well, everything vibrates. Everything vibrates. Now, when we take this box and we take this mineral, this crystal vibrates a lot higher than this paper does. Okay? This plastic bag here, this crystal, this doesn't vibrate very high. This crystal vibrates a lot higher. So every crystal has a complete story and possibilities. Every crystal. And almost all rocks are types of crystals. And so all of them have possibilities. And once you connect with a crystal, you will get some of the possibilities. Now, it ain't going to come the first time you just grab one. I mean, again, everybody can't feel this. Everybody can't feel the crystal vibrate. Everyone can't connect to crystals. Everyone cannot put a crystal in their heart. I mean, it's just everybody doesn't have those abilities. But generally, you put these in your environment, and depending on what you're trying to manifest, these can help you manifest depression. They just have a lot of different possibilities that they can give you. So I hear people saying that I don't believe in crystals. Well, you don't have to believe in crystals. Just because you don't believe in them doesn't mean they don't work. Well, I don't believe in those. You don't have to. They work regardless if you believe in them or not. So what you're saying is you won't connect with them. That's what most people say, that they won't connect with them. So, so how do you use them? Well, as I was just saying, right now I have a lot of, since they took down my show, in this I know all attacks, so I'm keeping a lot more. Black crystals in general are protective. So, and they're grounding. This kyanite is one of the most protective crystals. Again, I have this in corners. I have little pieces of this in corners in my bedroom. They will set up a vortex of protection. Tourmaline is very much the same way. It will set up a area of protection for you. And just as I was showing with Shungite is the same way. Obsidian is another thing. So in general, almost all black crystals, now again, I said almost, are protective in their nature. And you have a apophyllite, which is a zollite, with lithium in it, so it can protect and it can heal. And this can set up a vortex. You can scry with these. It's kind of difficult the way you scribe with these, but you kind of look at it from the side, and then you put the picture inside the pyramid, because these, are natural based pyramids, that's just kind of how they grow. And you can kind of make life or see visions in here. It's not an easy thing to do this way. It's something I really got to work hard to do, because you got to really hit this right angle. And then when you hit the right angle, try not to go cross-eyed. But you really have to, okay, I'm starting to hit it now. Yeah, you've got to really, it's hard on the eyes too, but you got to really hit the right angle. And you actually can, you can get your vision in this. So not one of my favorite ways to do it. It's a lot easier, to just scribe. And then, obsidian, you can actually, like crystal ball, something like this. You see how you can see that? And so yeah, I can see myself in here. And if I look at this and work with this long enough, this will start actually just kind of clouding up. And you could actually scribe in something like this. You could use something like this as almost a crystal ball, because my mirrors are made out of obsidian, but you could use the skull too. It's interesting. This shows all my upper body, which I didn't remember it would show that much. And so, wow, yeah, it would be easy to get into this one. And you can get visions in here. The same thing you would get in the ethers and the astro. And it's like, even we could do this like just this quick little thing, like just close your eyes, and no magic is going to be used, but just close your eyes. And again, I've got a lot of lights around me, so it's hard for me to close my eyes, or hard for me to get complete darkness because I've got nothing but lights. But if you just close your eyes, something naturally happens. If you have like a little bit of more darkness around you, again, I'm surrounded by a lot of light, so I would really have to do something like this. And even this, it's still a lot of light. But just closing your eyes, and naturally, after a few minutes, something starts happening. Now, in some cases, you start seeing spirals. If you really have practiced a little bit more, you might see like the matrix code coming down, or you might see different kind of mathematic patterns. Like even right now, I'm picking up some mathematical patterns. And so that is, you're starting to get into a type of realm. And again, the astro, the ethers, kind of the same thing somewhat. It's the same name for something very similar. But you can see, you can see the uses of each, and you can see when you're one or not the other. And sometimes I do kind of throw both in together. And then as the farther you go on, you get to a point where you see a thing that looks like a big mushrooms, and it's just doing like this, and you come across the golden ratio. Remember, American Gods, when they go to Wisconsin, they go to the Ferris wheel. In the Ferris wheel starts going around. Well, that's showing you the golden ratio. And that's exactly what I'm saying, is you see this big mushroom like this. And so the thing is to rise above that. It's kind of cool as a marker at first, and then you rise above that. And at the same time, when you rise above that, you're also rising above karma, because karma is the kind of thing where you want to look at karma like this. You don't want to be looking up at karma, because that ball will come back and slap the shit out you. That's what karma is. But you can rise above karma, and you just look down at that shit. You're like, okay. Or remember the thing you used to have with a bell on it? You can kind of make it, and you jump over the bell. You put one under your ankle, and you make it go around, and you kind of jump rope with it, like, and you're jumping over the little bell part. I mean, maybe that's a little old toy from some of y'all, but it was this toy that you wrapped it around one of your legs, and you got it going, and you could kind of, jump rope with it. You would jump every time it come around, you jump over it. Well, that's kind of how you can look at karma. You can rise above karma. So you can do two things at once. You can rise in the ethers a little higher, but you also are rising above karma as well, once you go above the golden ratio. So that's kind of simplifying it. And it's a lot more information you can get on that. That's kind of a little quick story of how to put it. And I know I need to make some more videos about that. Just little shorts, how to prepare for that. And so, I mean, there are people that get crystals and can't feel them. I mean, they really can't. But they'll do their job if you feel them or not. They'll do their job. Like if you get black crystals for protection and grounding, they will do that for you. And if that's all you know, and that's the only thing you can program to do, they'll do that. They'll ground you, and they'll give you protection. And maybe that's all you need. I mean, we are all magical people. That's what you have to understand. Everyone has magic. I mean, I got that big, thick book, and it tells of different types of magic that everybody has. That is what they try to kill in you. You talking about you don't get sick and stuff. Well, that's because we're magical people. And you don't think this vaccine and all these poisons is made by wizards and alchemy? Now they put in nanotechnology, and now they're putting stem cells from babies and shit. You don't think wizards is making that shit? I mean, we are magical people in magical times. And so You have to use your own magic. And a lot of times your magic can be stronger because getting over fear, it takes a magical ability to get past fear. Because you have to have a great imagination. Because fear is a motherfucker. Right now, we live in a nation of fear. My father and my stepmother don't go out because they're fearful. That's what masks mean. Masks mean that fear is around the corner. I mean, that's how the program they put out. The bad magic, the negative magic they put out, that fear is around the corner. If you leave your house and you walk near somebody, it can jump on you. It can jump on you. Fear can jump on you. So that's what the masks mean. The masks mean that fear is everywhere. It's a spell. It's an enchantment. I mean, the Super Bowl is an enchantment. They enchant you. You know, it's a ritual and it's an enchantment on you to make you bet, to make you buy. Christmas is nothing but enchantment to make you buy. The news tries to put enchantment on you every day. Every day. Every day, a new enchantment on you every day. So they use the shit. I say, why can't we use it? Because they definitely using the shit. I thought I was bugging seeing that stuff when I closed my eyes. I see the green matrix code after getting high. After I had to taking a break for a month. I was taking breaks to reach my space. That's good. Which books are you referring to? Which books are you referring to? Which books? Math and Magic. Which books? I don't know. What did you say about a book? I'm kind of lost there about which book. Pac-Man, give me some reference. No Fear. Yeah. No BS. I really don't get sick. I don't either. I had this little, and I got allergies anyway. So I had this little nasal infection, but that's about it. That's about the last time when my daughter was born, I get sick from her. When she gets sick, I tend to get sick. But she had a cold when she was first born, and that was the last time I really got sick. And my daughter's 9 years old. So I get hurt. I've gotten hurt, but I just don't really get sick either. The last time I got sick was Keelan's 18. Keelan was a baby, so he was born in 2002. So I got strep throat back in 2002. That was the last time where I was sick for 2-3 days. It was like I came down, gave everybody Christmas gifts, laid on the couch, and didn't move for 3 days. Didn't move for 3 days. That was the last time I got, and that was 2002. That was a Christmas, maybe Christmas going into 2003, because Keelan was a baby. So he was born in 2002. He was born in September. Yeah, so he was probably 3-4 months old by Christmas. Yeah. So yeah, I don't get sick either. You mentioned a book talking about different magic. Oh, different types of magic. Books about different types of magic. I forget what reference I put that, but there's a lot of books about magic. I mean, both these books are about magic. The Keys of Solomon is about magic. And this recent book I bought, Angels and Demons and Spirits, is the book about magic. Yeah, there's books about magic. I forget what reference. I'm an old man, and please forgive me, Pac-Man. I'm an old man, and I forget what reference. But yeah, there are a lot of books that reference magic. So sorry, I don't mean to give you a short answer. I'm an old man, and that's why. But yeah, there are several books that you can look at, like even the Verdas. When I didn't wear my Verda tonight because I have this on, but even reading about the Verdas and the Vegas, and this kind of stuff, you can read about how they used and applied magic. So there's a lot of different references out there on how magic is used. That is the same as this. So, but yeah, there are several references that you can find. Oh, and this is so cool. And this took me a long time to get in touch with it. I put the motorbite on this. But yeah, there are a lot of books to study about what type of magic would. Okay. I know what I was saying is I have a book. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't have it in this room, but I have a big book that's this thick. And it basically shows, it basically can show you how to deal with chakras, but it also has different kind of mentions. It has about 150 to 200 different kind of sensitivities that we all have. Yeah, the book is in my bedroom. I'll bring it out tomorrow. When I broadcast tomorrow, I'll bring it out. But I've showed it before. And it shows you about 200 different types of magic that we have. I mean, some people can look at incense and the incense smokes they can read. Some people can look at candles and the way it flickers. Some people like when they throw chicken bones out. You know, when you see a voodoo man shake up and they throw the chicken bones down. Again, there's people that have those kind of, those kind of capabilities where they can see a vision through throwing the chicken bones down. So that there is all these types of magic. I talked about big families. Like, I know that's a thing of the past, but it was like when you were around a big family, there was kind of a telepathy that all the family would have. Like if you was around a family with 8, 9 children and you go around and just the way everybody's working together, it's like a type of telepathy that all of them had. All of them knew what to do to kind of get along, unless you had a family, with some lazy ass parents and lazy ass children, and there's shit in the corner that they use for a table. But if you had just a regular healthy family, there was a type of magic in watching the way these big families that you don't see anymore. When I tell people I have 8 children, people look at me like, oh, well, how many baby mamas? A damn enough. Enough of them to have those. But yeah, I'll bring that book out, Pac-Man. Yeah, I can't think of it. And it's not a bad book to learn. Again, I don't deal with chakras because you don't need that kind of stuff. I mean, the true dealing with chakras is it's too well, I'm not going to say any names, but it's people that still talk about that stuff. And in reality, it can be, if you really open that up, it is so many chakras that you couldn't even count them all. They try to teach you to concentrate on 7 or 8. But in reality, when you really get that shit moving, it is a whole almost world of just chakras moving. I mean, it is like a world of that shit. So but they tell you to concentrate. And then again, it's only a science that is, or not even a science, only a practice that's 100 or 200 years old. It's not a very old practice. But this book tells about all these different things that you could have. It's people that can look in clouds and read clouds. Like I had a vision in a cloud one time. One of my first future visions was I saw my son and my 9-year-old daughter. I saw my soon-to-be 26-year-old son and my 9-year-old daughter. I saw them in a vision in the clouds. They say Joan of Arc used to see her visions like that. She would see her visions in the cloud. And it was like, I am watching a movie in the cloud and I'm seeing my daughter first talk to my son on the phone, asking him, could she come see him? And he said, sure. And he hung up. And then I see him opening the door and her and him hugging. And I'm getting all this vision is in the cloud. All this vision is in the cloud. And so there's people that have those type of visions. It's not just me. And so there are a lot of different types of magic that you might possess. And this book only has a couple hundred, but it's like you have to see what you possess, because we're each unique. Everybody's unique. Everybody's unique. I mean, women's intuition is probably the best. I mean, women are born with a divine fire in them more than men. That is one thing you're closer to. You're closer to source because the divine fire burns deeper and hotter in women than it will ever with men. And so that's why we see the attack on women, the attack on the divine feminine. That's why men want to be women. It's because they want that divine spark. And I'm not jumping on anybody. It's, that's not my point. You can be what you want to be, And maybe I'm sorry for even saying that. But you can be what you want to be. But
You mentioned I'm allergic to pollen, that is, so it takes local honey or allergy meds depending on pollen count. Oh, can that Doctor Strange stuff really be done like he does in the movies? I use the amethyst, raw jasper. I stop by to say hello. Have you seen the commercial about how they want to put a spell on history for Women's Month? Yeah, I saw that. Good. Thanks for bringing that up. Is there divine masculine? Why is that never talked about? Yeah, absolutely. There's the divine masculine. Like when I talk about the hero twins, you can't get any more divine masculine. Oh shit. Okay. Did you guys feel that? Wow. Is it just me? Well, but yeah, the hero twins would be definitely part of the divine masculine. When you talk about the hero twins, that would definitely be part of that. That was part of like my lack of prayers, because in my prayers, I was only, praying to the divine feminine. And it was like, wait a minute, you're unbalanced, because, you can't just give everything to this and nothing to this. So yeah, good point. Thank you for bringing that out. But yes, absolutely. I tried. I get tired of the slavery, constant work, no appreciation for it. Of slavery, constant work, no appreciation for it. But yeah, there's definitely a divine masculine. I got you. Yeah, there definitely is. There definitely is. It is, and that's a lot of what the hero twins are. Is the divine masculine out thinking nature, beating nature sometime, turning into nature, turning into some of the animals to take advantage of nature or take advantage of some of the gods. I mean, yeah, it's so. Yeah, I think the hero twins definitely talk about that divine masculine. And so it takes both. It takes both. But yeah, and it's both. I pray to both sources. I pray to the divine. I start my prayer off as the divine source father. I raise up my terrace pyramid to the divine source father and thank that father, the divine source father, and all the fathers that come to me. That covers a lot of people that come to me. And the same thing for the divine feminine. I go to the divine feminine and I thank all the divine feminine, the source divine feminine, and all the divine feminine that come to me. That is my first words. That is my first thoughts. My first thanks goes to both of them. Whereas before I was just with the feminine spirit, and that was wrong. There was no balance. I was leaning too much to one side. Well, guys, I think I'm going to call it. I do have a few things to do tomorrow. How do you feel about the Mississippi governor signing the bill to ban transgender students from women's sports? That had to be done. More states have to. It's just not fair. It's not fair. And they've been allowing it for a long time. Again, Sabrina, Dr. Renee Richardson, the WTA has always been like that. So that sport has always been like that. So if you have a daughter that gets into pro tennis, know she's going to be competing against men. That's been since the 70s when Dr. Renee Richardson, Billie Jean King, Navratilova, all these was men. All of them was men. And so WTA's always been like that. So that's their sport. But when you're talking about Brittany Grimes, you had a little boy that was too weak to compete against other boys, so he raises them as a girl. The first woman that, again, Title IX helped them, Robin Roberts was the first to really benefit. Robin Roberts is another man that was raised as a woman of hoops. Almost, I would say 75% of the women in WNBA is dudes. Sue Bird, there's no way you can tell me Sue Bird ain't a dude. Sue Bird got a hairline way back here, male pattern baldness. So almost all them is dudes that hoop. It was dudes that wasn't good enough to be boys, so they raised them as girls. And so what we're seeing is like the track person that's in the commercial. The track person that's in that commercial, he was the worst hurdler in men's Division III. He was like the 300th slowest dude in Division III. So all of a sudden he takes hormones. That's all he did. He didn't cut his shit off. He just started taking hormones. All of a sudden, he's the best woman hurdler in the world. I think it's 400 hurdles, 400-meter hurdles. He was the worst dude, but now he's the best woman. That's not fair. You got the boy, whoever he's wrestling, you know, the boy that was wrestling against the girls that's the state champion every year, and he's a boy. It's not fair. Men are naturally stronger than women. Muscle memory is stronger, quicker, faster. So, yes, every state should do that. Every state. Now, again, the WTA, we know that's for them. That's for them. They set that up for that. So that's how you know what Sabrina and her sister is. You know that already. Almost all of them. Almost all of them. I would say 75% to 90% in tennis. Almost all of them. Even that girl that has the Chinese background. Her too. That's the sport for that. So I say create another sport for that. Create another division. Like if you want them to be in track and field and basketball, create like the WTA did. Create that for them. So have a, you know, and maybe if you don't have enough in each state, maybe sister states can combine and have sports for them. Can let them compete against each other separately. That's fair to me. If you want a bunch of dudes who take hormones and they want to compete against each other, let them go at it and call that a different division. Call it the transgender division. To me, that's fair. But to say a dude, because he take hormones, can compete against women is wrong. That's wrong. But we've been seeing it. Basketball does it. College basketball does it. You look at college basketball and you're seeing a lot of dudes that's raised as girls. Because so it ain't like, it's the thing that they always try to say that if you play college basketball or pro basketball that you become a dyke. No. You got dudes who are pretending to be women that like women. So it's really dudes who like women. And if you believe that Brittany Griner didn't get her wife pregnant, that's you crazy. She paying child support. Brittany Griner is paying child support. So Brittany Griner is a dude. So you can't tell me, you can't tell me that's not a dude. But Robert, most of them are in the WNBA. And again, that is set aside for there's very few girls. There's very few girls in the WNBA. Very few. Even playing around the world, there are very few women. These is dudes who was raised as women. And they have the sports for them. And if you have a girl and she's good enough, she's going to be competing against men on hormones. So your daughter might be good enough to compete against that. Not saying it's impossible, but know that going in. I've done enough little kids basketball to see that. Like my daughter's god sister is going to be a cheerleader. Her mother was a cheerleader. Right now, they're training her to be a cheerleader. Prior lady one of the cheerleading every squad. It's like her god sisters just won nationals for here in Minnesota. So they just won state. So from, what did she say? 4th grade, 5th grade back. I don't know if they gave age, but they won state. So last year they had a show where, it was different divisions of the cheerleaders. 2 of the divisions won. One division, the varsity division, won 5th place in nationals. One of the girls' divisions won all of it. They won the nationals. But when I was watching, I counted 10 boys. 10 boys passing as girls. 10 boys. I counted at least 10. Now, to give you a reference, it was probably 6 teams I saw. So I would say out of 60 people, 60 girls, it was 10 boys. 10 boys that clearly were boys. 10 boys. So, if I'm seeing that, if, you seen parents raising their boys to just be cheerleaders, imagine what it is with the other sports. And I'm not singling out anybody. I don't know any of the names, but I know you go from that bone
to the elbow. That's how you do it. You go from shoulder to elbow. My elbow, my shoulder to this elbow shows I'm a man when I die. There's no surgery can get away from that. There's not a surgery that can get away from that. So if you put Sabrina in the ground and she died and somebody looked at that body, they ain't gonna say that's a woman, because that right there shows that she's the guy. And this is how far they go, wearing the moon bump and all that. They go through all those rituals because it's a ritual to them. Wearing the moon bump is a ritual. That becomes a ritual. But enough of that. Be safe. Much love, OG. Everybody be safe. How do you feel about? Yeah, so that's my thing. That's my thing. That it's let them compete against each other. I think that's fair. And then that way, we have muscle memory against muscle memory, because that's what it is. It's muscle memory, quick twitch nerves. That's all that. So, well, thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm 2.5 hours in. I think that's enough for tonight. I will be back tomorrow and same time. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate the interest. I never have a topic. The point is, there is no point, as Richard Pryor would say. The point is, there is no point. And you know what they said? Keep your pecker hard and your powder dry. And if you do those two things, you'll always be successful. So, I always stop with a Eshon poem, and it goes like this. I'm not a New York rapper or a LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. 8 Wind is timeless. Till we meet again. Thank you very much.